Hi, friends. I am Sweta Kaushal, and I have a guest today who has spent some 12 years in the industry. She has 16 projects to her credit, and she's already carved a space for herself. Please join me in welcoming Kirti Kulhari, who's here to talk about her new show, Human, and hopefully much more. Welcome, Kirti.
Thank you, Shweta. Thank you so much for, wow, 12 years, 16 projects. Okay. I could have done more. I should have done more. But yeah, it's good.
And you play a cardiac surgeon. How?
Did you just say how?
No. You started laughing before I could ask.
You almost sounded surprised and you're like, I know cardiac surgeon. Yeah, I laugh at it too very often. I was laughing a lot at it even while we were shooting. So yeah.
Yeah, I just said that you played this professional, like a professional, and you just started laughing.
I don't know. It's so random because because the thing is,
even
it's not even like
it's a very after I think after a neurologist, a cardiac surgeon is what is really fun.
And the thing is, I think I started laughing because I'm playing a doctor. Great, I have never played a doctor before, and I love playing doctor. But I mean, you don't give me any like easy thing, you straight away make me like a cardiac surgeon, and it is hilarious how I mean, I just, my biggest fear as an actor is when I'm playing a particular professional, like emotionally, I can take care of everything. But when I'm playing a certain professional, I am so scared of people just like laughing at, me playing this or that. So I have this very inherent fear of, I hope the fraternity that I'm representing is not like, dude, like she just made a mess of it. So I think that's why I just started laughing. Closeted homosexual was a big part of who she is, and I'm sure it's the case. This is the case with a lot of people who are different, for the lack of a better word, who are perceived as not normal or not a part of the society, for whatever reasons. So that was a part that I really wanted to explore because I haven't done that before. It's the first time I was playing a homosexual. And I remember, again, the way I was talking to doctors to speak about that aspect. I remember talking to a lot of gay people around me, who would really take me through their lives in terms of how it's been for them, being gay or bisexual in the world that they are living in. And so it was a very and then I also spoke to a psychiatrist, who would deal with a lot of homosexual patients, particularly, facing the problems because they're homosexuals,
During the decision-making process, how significant was your character's sexuality for you? You've partly kind of answered this, but if you want to add anything.
I was actually, it was a big reason. It added to me saying yes in a big way, because I had not played a homosexual before this. I had not played a gay person before this, and I felt so ready for it. Like there was not even like a second, not like, forget about me hesitating even for a second. I rather jumped at it because I was like, this is also there. It's going to be amazing. Like I get to be this and this and this, and I get to have, I'm representing two communities. I'm representing, being a doctor, I'm representing the LGBTQ community, the gay community. So for me, the representations were so big, and so important, that I just I was rather very thrilled that now finally I get to understand the idea of homosexuality much more than, it just being another concept in the society, So I think I was I was so excited about it, and I was so emotional about it. It's just not being exciting, It's not just being excited. I was so emotional about it. When I was talking to people, when I was figuring their stories out, even my writer director Moses Singh, he also represents that community, in his own way, and he had a lot of insight. I spoke to him a lot. So for me, it was. Their stories were so. The stories were so touching, their stories were so there was so much to it that I was just so charged to it. Really made me root for Saira even more, because I'm always I'm always looking out for scripts which are better than what I have done before, scripts which really challenge me as an actor, which make me want to explore subjects that I haven't touched upon before, so and new collaborators. I think that's also an idea. While I'm happy to collaborate with people I've worked with before and enjoyed the experience, it's always nice to kind of work with newer people, newer actors that I haven't worked before. So I think in this case, when Vipul connected with me for Human, I remember I was on my way to Lucknow, at the airport, and I was like, okay, let me quickly go, give a call to Vipul and ask him what it's about. And he, in like 5 minutes, he just gave me an overall idea of what the show is about. And I'm like, wow. So I think one of the first things that he said was human drug trial, right? That's at the core of it. And I think that in itself was very intriguing for me, because it's a subject that I don't know much about. And so that was the first hook point for sure. And I was like, okay, so send me the episodes, let me read through them. And he's like, I have 5 episodes ready and you could read them. I'm like, sure, great. So I remember, I went to Lucknow and I started reading episodes, and these are series, it's like a 45 minutes per episode kind of a thing. So it was a lot of material, but I remember being very hooked to it, and I just immediately went through the first five that I was given. And I was like, I called him immediately and I was like, this is really interesting, because it was a very, so while the main subject was very interesting, something never done before, the way it was written, the way it was, the story, the narrative was going forward, the way my character was written, the way others' characters were written. So I think the overall writing for me was really, really strong. I was quite amazed at the writing, and I was like, this is so, and I honestly loved the, I don't like sugarcoating things, a lot. Like, I like things I enjoy gray. I enjoy dark, as much, actually much more than just a white thing, in the script. So for me to see a script which was not shying away from showing you the gray and the dark, I think was a very, very fascinating thing about the script. And so I think while reading it, I was pretty sure that this is something I would love to jump on, because this is what I want. This is like food for me. The as an actor, as a person. So I was completely like for it very, very immediately. Like, it was a very simple decision for me, because everything was just so beautifully tick marked in terms of what you want in a script. So I think it's just, I just had to do it. It was one of the most powerful scripts I had ever read, actually. I do remember there are scenes, in the show where sometimes our hands touch, There's also a kissing scene in the show. And I remember almost like, of course I'm an actor, of course I'm up for it, but it's still strange for me, it's still sort of, I've never done this before. It's still strange for me to create that chemistry with a woman, you know, to really give you the expressions I would probably give for falling for a guy, you know, to give the same expressions to kind of for a woman. So it's strange for me. It's something that I did, you know, go from one point to another, and I knew that it's not something that my preparation can prepare me for. It's in that moment, whenever that moment comes, I just have to, I literally had to wire myself in a way um, to go beyond the, again, like to go beyond the idea of gender. You know what I mean? Like it was so interesting for me as I was going through this process of, it's not about whether there's a man or a woman in front of you. I mean, it's about what you're feeling for them, right? And which, so in a way, I did almost reach a point where I went beyond gender, you know. And honestly, Shweta, that's a very liberating space to be in, because, you know, genders come in the way of a lot of things. Like somehow the way we are wired as a society, the way we are conditioned as a society, it's always about male versus female. You know, it's always about sex. It's always about, you know, aadmi hai, aurat hai, ladka hai, ladki hai. I mean, so much is defined based on the gender you are, the gender you have, you know, the gender you belong to. And for me, I think it's been a great journey, where now I'm like looking at people, learning to look at people just for the people that they are, and not based on the gender, you know, that they possess. So and I remember the kissing scene. Okay, I think the most nervous person for the kissing scene was my director, Moses. Okay, so it's like I am not thinking about it. I mean, I was only like, you know, I was actually only like, you know, what if I kiss her, and what if I feel something, you know, what if I get turned on, you know, that's going to be something, you know. It would really like make me want to sit back and be like, okay, so are we now also looking at women, that kind of a thing. And I think that was the only thing at the back of my head. And we didn't rehearse, nothing. हमने कुछ ऐसा नहीं किया उसके लिए. But I remember my director sitting behind the monitor, and I think he was like, I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know what will these women do. And he made us do some 8-10 takes of it. Okay, different angles. So first time we did it. First time I did it. We did it first time. And by the way, this is Shefali's. Shefali has lost her on-screen virginity to me. She's never kissed before on screen. So I remember she telling me later, she like, this is the first time I've ever kissed on screen. I was like, damn, yes, you know. So, but yeah, we did it. And then we are like, okay, so ho gaya. And I was relieved ki I'm like, thank God, bhaiya, kuch nahi hua. Like, aisa koi feeling nahi aaya. I mean, I've done my job and let's move on. And Moses has come back and they've decided to take some yahan se bhi, wahan se bhi, wahan se bhi some. And now we are, me and Shefali are, that first couple of takes, the awkwardness, whatever was there, it's done. And now we are like going at it like robots. They'll say action, we'll go and do something, cut, back to it, again, go do it. And by the end of it, we are like, what are we even doing, you know, like, and that's what it is. People think, oh my God, sex scenes on screen, kissing on screen, you know, kaisa lagta hoga, kaisa hota hoga. I mean, it's the most boring thing, because there are 100 people watching you. There is no privacy. There is, I mean, action. You are at the mercy of a director. Action cut. I mean, you literally are like,
it's not even about your feeling or your pleasure.
You don't have time to feel, trust me. You don't even have the time to, because you're like, acha, abhi you're focusing, abhi action light, yahan se light catch karo, abhi action bolega, us pe ye jana hai. Then in the middle of it, they will give you directions ki thoda aise turn karo, thoda udhar facing karo. I mean, it's like, how do you expect anyone to have any kind of feelings, you know? So yeah, and it was like, I remember it was all done. We were like, oh, okay. And Moses is like, oh, Moses has had this funny smile on his face where he was like, he was so happy that he got what he wanted. At the same time, he was like, oh, damn, like I made you girls do this, you know. So,
So much about being adamant on living a lie. Something. Have you ever had that kind of a scene in your real life?
I'm sure I have. I'm
Do you
sure.
want to talk
Like,
about it?
yeah. I don't know if I want to talk about it, but I think there it's it's such a all this works at such a subconscious level that it's not even like you're trying to do it. You're trying to state a lie, or you're trying to live in a lie or something. And I won't say live in a lie, but living in, I think not being able to see things for what they are. Like in CJ, Anuradha Chandra's, she's almost living in denial. Like from a third person's point of view, it's like, oh my God, how could you? But when you are in it, you are looking at things differently. So your reality is not how it's perceived by outsiders. You have a different reality only.
You don't
It's
realize
not
it
like,
till the point
yeah.
that you've actually come out of it.
Till you have taken a step back and been like, oh, okay. So it's like when, I'm sure it's happened in my relationships, I'm sure, and I think it happens to a lot of people, where when you are in it, when you are with a person, you want to believe that things are a certain way, that this person is like that, this person is not like that. And you almost make yourself believe that the way you are seeing it is how it is, because you want to see it that way. A big part of you wants to see it that way. And when you step out of that relationship, when the relationship breaks and you're out of it, then you spend a lot of time going back at, oh, okay, maybe this was not like that, maybe that thing that happened actually meant that. So so that's when I said that I'm sure it has happened to me, because and I think I can really give the examples of relationships right now. I mean, not just my marriage, but also my other relationships that I've had, before that, where because that's how you are learning, that's how you're growing, when you're looking back at things and you are looking at them um, by stepping out of that box. You suddenly start perceiving things in a very different way, and that's how I think things start making sense to you. Because when you are in things, in the middle of things are not making sense to you sometimes, and yet you don't know what is it that's not making sense. But when you step out, suddenly you start seeing things clearly. You suddenly start putting two and two together, and it's like, oh, okay. At the same time, I feel that the whole truth, the truth is not really there, because I have lived in denial. I have believed a certain lie. I have lied to myself about things being a certain way. And yeah.
You said marriage is overrated, but not love and companionship. Do you want to elaborate on that? Do you want to talk about what do you think changes between two people after marriage?
uh, one thing for sure that happens is, I know that for love to flow and for love to exist, freedom is the most important thing. Okay. The freedom to just um, the freedom. I mean, if I don't elaborate on it any further at this point, what happens in a marriage, I would presume, or the way I see it, the basic answer to that is, honestly, I don't know what is it, what should change after marriage when two people feel a certain way. But what does happen is, marriage is a kind of, it is a sort of a contract, in the, it just makes you believe that, oh, okay, this is I have to fight for this, I have to protect this, I have to be into it much more than I have ever been in any other relationship. That is if you have experienced other relationships. Otherwise, if you look at it in a very basic way, there should not be any difference. I mean, you connect with a person, the two persons come together, they share a certain equation with each other. All that is the basic stuff, but marriage kind of makes it like अभी तो मतलब एक सील लग जाती है कि इसको तो you have to really work towards protecting this. And at the same time, I think what also comes in the picture is you almost at the back of your head believing ki now the other person can't leave me, and at the same time you start feeling the pressure of, oh, okay, so now I also can't leave the other person. So I am saying just very, human beings are very, our mind can do a lot of things with us, and in this case, so the moment that idea comes into your head saying, oh shit, okay, so I can't leave when I want to, I mean, there's a certain imprisonment, sort of an idea that can sort of happen to a lot of people, in terms of the way they start thinking. And I think that that can really come in the way of loving freely, So when this imprisonment, when this idea of taking for granted that the other person is there for you, has to be there for you, a lot of has to comes in the picture. I think that's the point. While in a relationship, I mean, the idea is more free flowing, and the idea of space, the idea of you doing your thing, me doing my thing. Suddenly with the marriage, it's like it has to be a certain way. You have to coexist. You have to make it work. You have to be available for the other person. I think a lot of that has to starts happening, and that's I think that can be quite a bummer when psychologically, I mean, not everybody is strong enough to see things for what it is, for what they are, and just still maneuver through it, still figure their way out through it. So I think when I said that marriage is overrated, all I meant was this, that I mean, I have grown up on the idea of marriage, being married and having a family very, very strongly, and it's not like my parents sat me down and said, beta shaadi to karni padegi, bacche to karne padenge. No, it's not that. But again, conditioning, coming back to conditioning, just the way the society is, just the way things are around you. And I remember growing up celebrating marriages, whenever itni shaadi, I mean, I have a huge family, and there's so many people to get married. There's so many, I've attended like, I don't know how many weddings in my life, and I would really enjoy them, and I would really get emotional about the idea of, I think what I mistook was the idea of two people being together. I mistook that idea for marriage. It's only when I think went through a marriage, and when I came out of it, I realized that what matters to me is two people being together, two people loving each other, and when I say love, I mean, it's not a word that's often openly spoken about, but I think without that, love cannot exist. So, and that word is respect. You are somehow respect is a word that you don't hear very often about. And it's through the years that today I've come to a point where I'm like, wait a second. I mean, whether it's between siblings, whether it's between parents and children, whether it's between two partners or friends. I mean, I truly believe that there can be no love if there is no respect between those people, you know. So I have started to look at things so differently post my marriage, because I'm like, um, the idea of, not even the idea, I mean, love is great. If love can let you breathe, if love can give you the freedom to be who you are, if love can support you in ways that it's supposed to, I mean, and this is not from books, like really, this is what I have learned, in my life. And I am somebody, again, having grown up on, romantic idea of love. I'm not talking about romantic idea here. I mean, I am 38 and I have no romantic notions about love, but I do understand love the way I have never understood it before. And that's what I said, that this idea that most of us grow up with, saying शादी नहीं होगी तो जिंदगी अधूरी रह जाएगी, आप माँ नहीं बनेंगी तो जिंदगी अधूरी रह जाएगी. These are the ideas I have a problem with. I have no problems. You want to get married, and you have someone, and someone wants to get married, and you guys want to have a family together, you want to call it a family, you want to have children, you don't want to have children. I really believe in, have really started fighting for individual choices. The best thing that parents can offer their children is to really support them and accept them for who they are, and let them just be the person they want to be. I don't know why does everyone make a big deal out of this. I don't know why parents make it sound like, that line from DDLJ, Ja Simran ji le apni zindagi. And I'm like, that should be the easiest thing. I mean, how you are, in fact, if you are not letting your child do that, you are coming in the way of it. And that's not okay. A child should not need your permission to be someone, to pursue something that they want, to really fall in love with another. They are doing it out of respect, and most of the times they're doing it out of fear, which is sad. And how, again, like how we mistake fear for respect in this country.
Do you want to talk about why you decided to go for separation and not divorce?
I mean, for me, when I decided to separate, it was the idea was just to take a step towards distancing myself from the situation I was in. Okay, I just wanted, for my own sake, I wanted to make a decision. It was not about, oh, you know what, I need to have the lawyers, I need to get the papers signed, I need to move out of this. No, for me, it was not about the external idea of getting a divorce. It was my own internal thing of saying, you know what, I'm done, right? And for all you know, I could have been living in the same house and had the same thing. I could have made that decision that while I'm living under the same roof, I am not a part of this anymore. Okay. But it wasn't, I also realized that it's not possible, when one person decides to leave a certain relationship, and that to a marriage, I mean, really, like everything I spoke about, a lot comes with the idea of marriage. You have shared a lot as a husband wife, much more deeply than you have shared while you were a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. So there has been a very, very strong connection. There has been a very, very strong attachment, and when one person decides to leave that, it is, you could have the most mature person in front of you, but it will still not be easy. It will still not be smooth. Because someone is really hurting. One of you is really hurting. Somebody's heart is breaking. And when that happens, it's a it's a thing they say, that hurt people hurt others, right? So when someone is hurting, they want to hurt you back, and it's futile, it's kind of there's no point then, to kind of stay under the same roof and not have anything else. In my case, honestly, I could afford to step out and say, you know what, I will live on my own. But I totally get it when so many wives, especially, I mean, again, the idea of financial independence and economic independence is something that's not really taught to us. In fact, we are taught the other, that oh, you're dependent on your husband. Your husband will take care of you, and this and that, and whatever. And again, a lot of things have a chain reaction to this. So in my case, I could afford to have another house, and I moved out. And I think I just wanted to be at peace. Yeah, I just wanted to firstly take this decision, which was the most tough and biggest decision of my life I've ever taken. At the same time, I wanted to just I also believe, Shweta, that once it's over now, it's over. Like there is no point with that back and forth, giving each other hope, and because you have been through that drill, you have been through all that whole process and journey of giving it a lot of chances, trying to make it work, and all of that. And so I think so my idea was to just step out of it, mentally, emotionally, physically. It didn't happen overnight, of course, but yes, staying away, staying in another house and not under the same roof helped with that. Helped in that it kind of the process got little expedited. Yes, because of staying away. And so I haven't, I mean, so the idea was not ki abhi divorce chahiye mujhe. I mean, it's fine. Like, I'm not looking at another marriage. I'm not looking at, stuff like that where I will need a divorce immediately. But yes, now I do feel that I am ready to take that next step, and now do what needs to be done.
All right, then.
You take care of yourself, Shweta, and thank you once again.
Thank you.